Terry Burrell,
Present.
Rhonda Jubinville.
Here.
Thank you. Frank Kennis.
Here.
Betty Ann McKinnon.
Present.
Steve Miller.
Present.
Kristen Rodriguez.
Present.
I don't see Lori Scott. And that would be everybody. So we do have a quorum for the executive committee meeting.
Okay, well, thank you. General manager's notes and reminders for those. We're now recording. I will go to the land acknowledgement. The St. Clair Region Conservation Authority acknowledges that its watershed is part of the traditional territories of the Anishinaabe, Haudenosaunee, the Lenapewick, and the Chong'ontun, who have a sacred responsibility to preserve the land and water of southwestern Ontario. The SCRCA acknowledges the treaties that allow us to work alongside the First Nation communities of Kettle and Stony Point, Amjanon and Bajawan to ensure we share the responsibility of preserving the land and water. Well, welcome everyone on this snowy day, and hopefully everyone is well. I don't know, is Ken online here? Sometimes he reads these. It's requested that each director declare a conflict of interest at the appropriate time on any item within this agenda, in that a director may have a pecuniary interest. So I guess I'll move to the minutes of the executive committee acknowledges the draft minutes of the Flood Action Committee held remotely on January 9, 2025.
I'll move that.
Betty Ann, moved by Betty Ann, seconded by Kristen Rodriguez. Any opposed to that motion? Seeing none, that item is carried. I'm going to go to a full screen here. There, that's better. Okay, 6.1, the executive committee acknowledges the report on business arising from the December 12th Board of Directors meeting. Flood action.
Excuse me, Pat, but do we need to adopt the agenda as well?
Oh yeah, sorry. I missed that, Ashley. You still there, Ashley? Yeah. Okay. You're on mute though. So, okay. Could I get a mover for the agenda, please? Terry Burrell, moved by Terry Burrell, seconded by Frank Kennis. Sorry, did you get that, Ashley? All right. So now I'm looking for a mover of the executive committee on the report of business arising.
I can move it. It's Rhonda.
Moved by Rhonda, seconded by
that.
Steve Miller. Any opposed? Okay, we're good with that. Okay, 7.1, the executive committee acknowledges the report from the authority's auditors, MNP Chartered Professional Accountants, LLP, and accepts responsibility for the 2024 financial statements and the statement of continuity of reserves and reserve funds and the year-end financials, and further approves the year-end adjustments, reserve adjustments as outlined in the schedule dated December 31st, 2024, and recommends that the Board of Directors approves the 2024 audited financial statements. A mover, please. Terry Burrell, seconded by Frank Kennis. Okay, any questions or comments? Kristen, go ahead.
Thank you. I just have one question about when we're doing shoreline work. Is that, does that go out for tender?
Yes, through you, Mr. Chair, yes, it does.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Terry, you're silent on that. The accounting companies must be all good.
Yeah. It's fine. I moved it.
Yeah. Okay. Any opposed? Seeing none, that item is carried. 7.2, that the executive committee approves the November and December 2024 disbursements as presented. A mover, please. Betty Ann McKinnon, seconded by Frank Kennis. Any questions? Okay. I'll take that. And any opposed? Seeing none, that item is carried. 7.3 is that the executive committee acknowledges that all 2024 municipal general levy has been received. Moved by Steve Miller. Seconded by Terry Burrell. Is that a question, Terry, or?
No, just seconding.
Okay. Any opposed? No questions? That item is carried. 7.4, that the executive committee acknowledges the status summary report on director's expenses from January 1 to December 31st, 2024. A mover, please. Betty Ann, seconded by Terry Burrell. Any questions or comments? Seeing none, that item I'll take as being carried. Item 7.5, that the executive committee acknowledges the investment statements to December 31st of 2024. A mover, please. Frank Kennis moves, seconded by Steve Miller.
Question, Mr. Chair.
Yeah, go ahead.
I guess I should have asked it at the time of the finance but I guess it's appropriate here as well. That large grant that was approved, I think the phosphorus related, I think it was a few $1 million. Is that all going to be received by St. Clair at one time in cash, and it'll be, I guess, available to be invested and earn some revenue off it while it's being used, or is that going to get paid out over a period of time or per project, or how exactly is that money going to be received by the CA?
Good point. Ken, do you want to speak to that? I don't know if
Yes, I can answer that question.
rated.
So, through you, Mr. Chair. So what's happening is Environment Canada and climate change is giving us X amount of dollars per year. So we have agreement for so much money that will be paid out by March 31st of this year, so much money that will be paid out toward March 31st for each of the next 4 years. So it's not one lump sum. It's we budgeted X amount of, I'm just going to use these are hypothetical figures. Please don't use this as biblical word. But for example, we'll get $800,000 this year, $2 million next year, 2 year after that, and 2 the year after that type thing. That's how it's being rolled out. So the chances for investing the lump sum aren't there. Like it just comes in as it flows.
Okay.
Yeah, as the project work is carried out, that's how it's funded, so much per year. Okay.
May I ask a question?
Yeah, Kristen, I see your hands up.
Thank you. On that subject, so do you have to meet certain criteria to then get the next year's release of the funds?
So through you, Mr. Chair, to the best of my knowledge, the budget's already been set. So it's already a pre-approved budget and the dollar amounts are distributed regardless. We have targets to meet, but the money's just guaranteed to be there for each year.
Okay, perfect.
Okay, 7.5, if there's no other questions, I'll take any opposed to that motion. That is carried. Item 8, no correspondence. 9.1 already, that the executive committee move in camera at 10:28 with only the executive committee members, general manager, and appointed auditors remaining to discuss confidential matters as per EC 23-05. Okay, a mover, Betty Ann McKinnon, seconded by Terry Burrell.